right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for putting yourself out there for our veteran job seekers. Like we say at Veteran Hiring Solutions, people don't follow companies, they follow leaders. So I'm excited to have the president of the company and also the hiring leader on this video. If we could, before we get into the sales role, I would like them to hear from each of you. One, Danny is the president, why you decided to bring your leadership there and run this organization and what your plan is for the future of the company. And then Mark, as the sales leader, what your expectations are of this human if they take on this challenge. So Dan, if you could introduce yourself to the audience.
Yeah, my name is Danny Fields. I'm the president and one of the owners at Utility Solutions Group. I think it's probably helpful to understand kind of where USG came from. So 2019, my business partner and I, we acquired a small product distribution company in Columbus, Ohio called Holland Supply Company. That company distributes primarily, gas measurement and gas pressure regulation products to gas utilities throughout the Midwest. Now, fast forward less than a year later, the global pandemic hit, and one of our primary suppliers came to us and they had kind of a problem, and they said that they were not able to continue building pressure regulators, primarily because of labor issues that we all experienced during the pandemic. So we turned that concern really into an opportunity. And we approached that manufacturer and we put together a deal to acquire those products. So my partner and I, Steve, we acquired those products through two different transactions, one in 2021 and then another in 2023. And we relocated the factory from Pennsylvania to Ohio, and that is what Utility Solutions Group is now. We formed this business really from the ground up. We acquired these products. We did not get any employees. We did not get any business systems. We did not get a factory. So it was on us to really do this startup and build this business from the ground up, which we started in 2021. And so what does USG do? We build pressure regulation products for gas utilities. Everything from, a small regulator that you'd find on the side of your house. If you use gas and you look outside, there's an ugly gray box that's measuring your gas. Next to that is a pressure regulator that, shape of a small saucer, and it's just dropping the pressure to go inside the house so that the appliances can use that gas. That's on the small end, and we have regulators that are, 100 times that size, maybe not 100, maybe 50 times that size, further upstream in the distribution system. So kind of a lot of different variations of that product, but they generally all do the same thing. So, I like to think that what we do is we help utilities provide gas to consumers so that they can take hot showers, they can, cook, comfort, heat. So all these things that we kind of take for granted is something that we participate in and something that we are proud to do to offer kind of this comfort to people across the US. So we've got customers really all across the globe. This role in particular is kind of focusing on the Northeast. And then your second question was kind of what's the future look like?
Yes.
I hope what you heard in the last couple minutes from me is that I and my partner are somebody who are growth minded, right? Growth is really important to us. When we bought that company in 2019, there were 9 employees, including Steve and I, and we're now at 80. So we've made some really big growth on the headcount. We've tripled the earnings of the company, and our process or our plan is to continue doing the same thing. That was, the last 6 years. I think the next 6 years will look very similar. It'll be some acquisitions, some organic growth. And I think, what that leads to is more opportunities for people in the organization. So that's
and one thing we didn't mention is that you and your partner are both veterans, correct?
That's right. It's kind of interesting, so I'll share it. We actually went to rival military colleges. I went to Virginia Military Institute. He went to the Citadel. And, we were a few years apart. We ended up meeting after we both left the Army. We met in an MBA program. So it was during that program we met and kind of learned that we wanted to kind of take this entrepreneurial path. And, we linked up and it made sense. And we spent some years looking for the right company and found it here in Columbus. So, but great. Yeah, we went to rival military colleges. Steve was an infantry officer in the 82nd Airborne Division. I started my career actually as a transportation officer in Germany. And then after the first few years, I applied for Special Forces and went the Army Special Forces route where I was a team leader in 7th Group. So, yep, really proud of that time.
Yeah.
And I always say this is my second favorite job I've ever had.
Well, when you talked about 2019, chaos creates opportunity,
For sure.
right? And
Yeah.
I smiled right when you said it. And I'm like, he didn't say that he was the military background first, because any vet's like, oh, there's an opportunity there, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Chaos creates opportunity. Well,
Yep.
thanks.
Yep.
So we understand the business. Now, how does the money come in? Right? I think Mark, it's your turn.
Sales, yeah,
Yeah,
sales,
it's the
yeah.
sales lead.
Yeah, Mark Register, National Sales Manager. The role will be reporting into me. We're looking for somebody, I guess, who I would say is a self-starter, very motivated, can work within our team. Right? To me, the team is very, very important. We've already hired two other people for regional sales managers roles. And I said to them, and it's important that people know this is that we're not inheriting team members, we're putting them together, right? So it's important that everybody, you know to pull on Danny's background, it's kind of I kind of say it's a unit, right?
Mhm.
We all work together. And that's
Yeah.
very, very important that we all get along and we all feel can pull our own weight. So the ideal candidate would have some knowledge about regulators in an ideal world, would also know about the utilities in the Northeast. There's a lot of hunting involved here, especially currently we have a distributor calling on a lot of these accounts. And so our plan is for the service regulator side to go direct. So,
Mhm.
this person may or may not be provided contacts. So they're going to have to be somebody that really can dig in and try to find where to go and not be afraid of a challenge.
Yeah.
It's
What?
not it's
So
not
that
easy.
being said,
Yep.
they're out there prospecting, right? Hunting,
Yep.
going to, are they
Yep.
going to like Eversource, the power company, or are they coming to my house, knocking on the door and saying, hey, you need a
No,
babysitter?
you'd be going to the larger utilities, so National
Okay.
Grid, PSE&G, Pico, maybe some integrators, McJunkin, the Macomb Group, right? So it's a varies on the customer, right? But the
But it's
main focus.
B2B. It's not B2C. It's
Yeah,
B2B.
it's
Okay.
B2B. Yeah, yeah. The main
Okay.
focus is gonna be utilities. That's
Mhm.
their main focus in getting those contacts. That's the big deal for us.
So they'll be, from salesperson to salesperson, right? They'll be developing their CRM. They'll be developing their contacts within their
That's
region of
correct.
responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Um,
I would say just, I mean, the first, 6 months to a year, the big focus for us is building relationships. So this
mhm,
individual has to be somebody that, I would love to have somebody technical, but I really need somebody who can go in and build relationships because people buy from people, right?
mhm.
That's
Yeah.
that's that's a very that's a key thing for us, right? As an
Is
organization.
is it the is it the supply? Is it the procurement? Is it the buyer? Is it the
Yeah, a little
service
bit of
head of
both.
service? Like,
Yeah, a little bit of both, right? So you'll be dealing with engineers, the engineering managers, you'll be dealing with operations, you'll be dealing with procurement. So it's just a myriad of different people. Field locations, you'll be going out to field. You could be ideally, eventually, you'll be doing training on our regulators to these customers. You'll
cool.
be attending trade shows.
I
You
was
know,
going to ask about that. So also, so you go knock on doors, right? Make the phone
yep,
calls, engage
yep,
via LinkedIn, all the things that salespeople do.
yep.
But there's also, is there a trade show route that they can go? Is there a nonprofit group? Is there groups that they can join, associations they can join in the Northeast to
Absolutely.
help?
Association and trade shows. We belong to some now, but to be quite honest with you, our distributors have done that. So we're
Mm,
kind of feeling our way through that. There are some key shows that we're members of and that we participate in the Northeast, but we would be looking at for this individual to help identify those trade
mhm,
shows that we would be going to and, organizations and joining committees and it's not just about selling regulators, it's about promoting USG, right?
mhm. Yeah, building relationships that last.
Yeah, a
Trust
lot of
takes a long
relationships.
time to build.
It does. So people in this industry, I was away from it for a little bit, but people in this industry are just really good people. They're nice, right?
Yeah.
It's not people are friendly, they're willing to help. You just gotta ask the right questions and they're willing to help. So
And
I
back up what you say. right? They have to be able
Yeah,
to trust you, back up what you
yeah,
say.
absolutely. So
Yeah. And so it really seems like, yes, the ability to influence, the ability to understand pressure valves is important, but also they have to have that strategic mindset to build the battle map, right? They've got to create that space and say, here's a hot target, here's a hot target, here's what I'm going to do, right?
that's
They're going
correct.
to work
Yep,
with you to do that.
that's correct. That is correct. Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and I think that also it ties into that is kind of understanding the competition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else is out there? What's the information we can get on what they're doing and how we can best position to, get ahead of them.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's all. And so really what you're doing is you're deploying these assets across the country live right now. So everybody's kind of building out their region. You're working with them to build that out. So some synergy should come out of that as people
Yeah.
start to.
And just, I mean, we do have a distributor in place. So there is some, people buy our product today in that territory. So
Okay.
you're not going to walk into a territory and go, oh, they're not going to say, what is this? It's a very well-established product. It's been
Mm.
around for over 100 years. So, it's a very well-known commodity in this market. So, it's not to say that they're starting from ground zero.
Mhm.
Because there will be some sales, right? And people will recognize the brand, the regulator itself, right? We've got a very storied history behind the
Oh, good.
products. The name may be new, but the product is a very well established and well thought of product. So that's very important too.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and you know, I'm a little biased, but if I'm coming into a region, I want to make an imprint. Like I don't want to go, hey, this is the top performing region and just not mess it up. I want to
Yeah,
come in and go, look what I built.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I want to come
And that,
back and look at and here's the beauty of sales too, is that at least the way I look at it, it's like when you go back home, you go back to the corporate office and you see everybody having a good time and everybody having fun, you're knowing that your revenue, your sales help provide that. And that's
yeah,
important.
it's very important, but I would say this. I think the team that Danny and Steve have put together, the whole company. I mean, everybody kind of. It's one of the few organizations that I worked at where everybody is really pulling in the same direction. Everybody really cares about the product they're putting out. It's a really great environment to work in. I mean,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah, I've known Steve for a really long time,
yeah,
and getting to know Danny more and more. And I can tell you that my 20 years of helping veterans transfer out, they're always looking to transfer their purpose. They're always looking to go somewhere where they can be respected,
yeah,
right? And they respect the people above them. Hey, is this a safe place to get after it?
yeah.
And I can
Yeah.
tell you USG is.
Yeah,
It
it
really
really
is.
is. I mean, it really, Steve and Danny have been great to work with. About the time, coming from a corporate environment, I've worked for
Mhm.
GE and Honeywell. I mean, I've worked for some big, big organizations. I don't even think I've ever told Danny this, but, every now and then I'll say something and he'll say no, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Here's the blow up.
Yeah.
And then I'll go, well, what about this? And he'll go, oh, yeah, that sounds good. Or, oh, yeah, well, what do you think of this? Or, I don't like that, but what about this? And I mean, it's a great environment for people to
Mhm.
work in. I mean,
Well, professionals respecting each other's seat, right? We're all on the
yeah,
bus together. Everybody's
yeah,
on the right seat.
yeah,
You're on that seat for a reason. Let's go.
yeah. Well, and they don't, Steve nor Danny or anybody on the management team or anybody in the company. I mean, everybody's open to ideas and they just want to, it's a truly a company that just wants to do good. They want to
Yeah.
provide a good product. They want to grow. They want to be part of this industry. And yeah,
And that's
it's greatest
and
place
that's
to
all vets
work.
and that's all vets want. All right. They want
Yeah,
somewhere to go and do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And well, unless Danny, you have something else to end on this. I mean, I think
No,
this is where you end, right?
no. Yeah, yeah. I'm
It-
excited to find the right person for this role. I mean, this is kind of a new venture for us. As
Mhm.
Mark alluded to, this is kind of our first foray at USG into hiring direct sales reps that go direct to the utility for
Mhm.
a portion of our portfolio. And it's a bit of an experiment, right? But it's also, if we can find the right people, I feel very confident that this is going to be a well-oiled machine. And in a couple of years from now, people are going to be like, how did they end up doing that? How did they
Yeah.
get to where they are right now? And I think it just starts with finding the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
finding the right people that are comfortable in the kind of operating the unknown, right? Colin Powell, 70% of the information,
Yep.
right? Got to be comfortable moving forward.
Yep.
If you have that mentality, right, and you like to meet new people and you like to influence, and you're okay with that, what I like about it is because you are that individual contributor out there, so to speak, right? You're out there outside the wire, but you have the whole support back at HQ that you need.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to say that's one thing too. I mean, we're not just going to cut you loose,
Yeah.
You're not just out there and we're like, okay, you're on your own. We'll see you. Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of training. There's a lot of things that we're willing to help with, and we're in it together. It's a team. I mean, it
Yeah.
is a team. Truly is. So,
Well, hey, that's where I'm ending it. I think we have talked about the role and we've really highlighted the leadership and the culture. So if you're ready to get in the fight, you might want to make an impact on a company that's growing, reach out.
yeah.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.